Good morning. It is Wednesday, April 2nd, 9:01 a.m. This is Live with Frankie. April 2nd, later on today, President Trump will be speaking about the tariffs that will be implemented on products that are made outside of the United States. We have a reciprocal tariff on other countries, but today we'll have a better understanding of how the market will react to all this madness. But you know the drill. And how should I forget? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are viewing this feed. We encourage each and every one of you to follow the page Frankie Olivo on YouTube as well. You can subscribe. We don't get tired, or I don't get tired of trying to make my page grow, but this would not be possible without y'all's help. Interesting day at the BISD district meeting yesterday. A lot has been discussed in regards to the direction that the district is headed. Right now, currently, we are in a 3-3 lock, which many important issues that the district is facing can't be passed, can't be implemented without that one extra vote. And it seems as if we are headed to an almighty stare down, to an almighty gunsling, because neither side is blinking. Yesterday during the school board meeting, there was a comment that stated that the board has been dysfunctional, and that is what we will be discussing today. Is the district dysfunctional? What does the outside world perceive of BISD?
I'm here as a business person in the community who served on the facilities committee, the Citizens Facilities Committee. And I noticed that you have board self-evaluation on your agenda, as well as discussing Dr. Chavez. And I would like to say how disappointed I am in the performance of the school board in having these 3-3 votes all the time. I do think that is you're not making the community progress and the BISD progress. You're not keeping the students at the front of your efforts. And to bring this up when you know it's going to be a 3-3 vote is an exercise in futility. And I, like others, I'm asking you to be cooperative and work as a team. You had all of these students here earlier, all of them progressing, all of them doing good things, and yet the behavior of your board is dysfunctional. And I will just give you some examples. And I hope you have this self-evaluation, and I hope you really take what I say to heart. You ignored the recommendations of the Citizens Facilities Committee. You had 100 people working to go to all the schools. And believe you me, if you've been to the schools, you've seen all the deferred maintenance. Yet you ignored that. Then you didn't vote to let the issue go to the voters. Let the voters decide if they're going to spend $300 million on these facilities, which they all needed work. Every facility needed something. There was maintenance needed and you did not let the voters decide. Why not? That made no sense. Then the reality of your diminishing school population. you have a diminishing school population, schools are going to have to be closed. There's just no question about it, and you're not facing up to the reality. Then putting Dr. Chavez again on the agenda, why can you not decide that he's really doing a good job? And you need to acknowledge it. And whatever else you need to know, you know that it's going to be a 3-3 vote. So why are you putting it on the agenda so people like me and Denise have to come and say, this is not progressing. This is not what you want to model to your students. And in fact, this is what you would not want your students to do. This is the opposite of what would be good behavior, a good example to anybody in this community. So anyone encouraging you in this dysfunctional behavior has something other than the best interests of this school board at heart. And you need to really think about that, because you have an obligation to this community and you are not doing what is best for the community. And anyone that says otherwise is not thinking of what is best for the community.
Dysfunctional. That is a word that this individual used to describe the actions and the current condition that the Brownsville Independent School Board finds itself in. It's important to realize what's at stake, and there are three things that this individual touched on. She touched on facilities. McNair, Cardenas McNair, she is part of the BISD Facilities Committee, and she's alluding to the committee making recommendations that many buildings at the district are in serious need of repair. When we think about maintaining, when we think about old buildings, to me that is a lack of oversight in regards to the making sure that our assets are being taken care of. Maintenance of these facilities is something that doesn't happen from one day to the next. This is something that accumulates throughout multiple years. Who is there to blame? The board members. Should we have better accountability? Some people are blaming the current chair of the facilities committee, the board member. But again, to me, this isn't something that arises from one year to the next, from couple years to the next. It's something that throughout 14, 15, 16, 20 plus years. And that's what we have seen, that this district, what has happened to this district. If we go back, she mentions why don't we let the voters decide? Right now, currently, because of it being a 3-3 vote, it is not going to be able to go to the constituents, the taxpayers. Are we in agreement that we do need to maintain our facilities? We need to invest millions of dollars in them. 390 was the bond. When we think about what the district is facing, you have charter schools. You have the likes of, Jubilee, Athlos, that they're starting to get traction. IDEA is probably the biggest threat moving forward. Their business model is, every child's going to go to college, or what is it? The percentage, like 99%. And for the most part, they've had a good track record. Also, we've also discussed about Elon Musk, Starbase, Rio West, that they'll be creating their own $20 million facility. And how many residents of Brownsville are going to want to send their kids to Elon Musk school? So you can just imagine what the district is facing. Competition. We're not even talking about the vouchers that's going to be that it's going to come, it's going to happen. Many people are against it, many people are for it. At the end of the day, I think as a district that was once having 50,000 students at one point at its highest in the mid 90s. Last time I heard it was at 32. Now it's probably in the high 20s, if anything. Anywhere from 28 to 34,000 students, maybe I would guesstimate. But that is what the district is facing. Are we seeing a board that is dysfunctional? And it's easy to blame either side. There was talks about professionalism, being professional. Wow. Good morning, Elizabeth. How's your day today? Happy Wednesday. How do I send stars? Just give me money, girl. That's it. Don't send stars. Don't worry about it. Just give me money. Good morning. Good morning, Sylvia. Hope you and your girls have a great day. Good morning. Harmony Science Academy, the MedTechs as well, Elizabeth. Is it the MedTech schools here in Olmito and then in Mercedes? So again, the district is in competition. If we do not invest in our schools, are we going to attract? Is this something that, and I hate to use the analogy, but is the district hemorrhaging students so quick that it's something that you're going to lose? You're going to close schools. You're going to lose employees. You're not going to get no more money from the state, or that's going to go away. Am I painting a picture for the school district? I am always in favor of not taxing the citizens. Why? Because we have a sales tax. We got this tax. We got this tax. And it seems as if we're talking about the resaca fee of $6 from PUB, that they're supposedly cleaning the resacas, making sure that whenever we get a hurricane, those hidden fees, right? You got to read the fine print. But I'm all in favor of not taxing the community. But in reality, what do we want for the district? Do we want to lose? And I blame the district. I blame the district. I blame the board members that have been there in previous years, because at the end of the day, it is the board members that guide the district. Yes, we can have the administration, the superintendent, but ultimately, what we have seen these last 20 plus years has been that the district has been bleeding money. Also, it was very interesting to follow the meeting yesterday, because there was payments that the board needed to vote on in regards to construction work, and the architect, I don't want to say he doesn't know what he's doing, but maybe it's time for the district to take a look at other avenues, because the district is in the hole. And then these construction jobs that some are kind of questionable are in the thousands, hundreds of thousands. And it's just one thing after another that keeps happening. Imagine if SpaceX would have paid taxes these past 9 years. How much money would that be? Yeah, SpaceX is fortunate that they get all these tax abatements, because they come with the promise of, we're going to invest $3 billion in the area. More to come with this plaza, this $15 million plaza, Rio West. It's going to be in the billions, of course. And then the jobs, many restaurants, coffee shops, hangouts have benefited. Many businesses have benefited from SpaceX, tourism. It is big, but that is why they're creating their own star base to their own city, in my opinion, so they themselves could govern themselves, so they can tax themselves. It's easier, so to speak. Well, that is the reason that I think that they're doing it. So is the board dysfunctional? She stated, Cardenas McNair stated that the board has been behaving in a manner that has been unacceptable, it seems, to the community. And one thing that they were against was that the superintendent was on the agenda to be terminated. This isn't the first time that this has happened. Just this year, I believe this is the second, possibly third time that he's been on the agenda. His contract is up, terminates this summer. Many have questioned his leadership. We have seen his supporters. They were vocal during yesterday's meeting for public comments. They reminded the board that Dr. Chavez is a hometown former employee, I think professor, and now he came out of retirement to become superintendent. And just, remembering how he was appointed, we do have to address that he was selected. He was selected with the understanding that this would be temporary, that this wouldn't be, that he ultimately, being the interim, wouldn't be the final selection for being the superintendent. This happened like 2 years ago. But we have seen the only way, in my opinion, the only way to judge a superintendent is based on what his employees have to say about him, whether an anonymous survey or also scores, test scores. That is ultimately how an individual is graded on. This past year, have we been an A-rated? I think we weren't we? This past year or 2 years, possibly, we were an A-rated school district. That is how I would determine. His position. I remember Hector Gonzalez got terminated as super. We pay school taxes through property taxes. Schools also get funds from the state and the federal and from people's donations. Their monies is just mishandled and misspent. And then you have Rata board members who get their cut directly or indirectly. Mismanagement, not being fiscally responsible. That is a popular word that many politicians use loosely. Are we seeing a dysfunction on the board? We have seen after board president Erasmo Castro's passing how they weren't able to come up with a consensus vote on who would be his replacement. There were numerous applicants, over 20, and one couldn't be selected. There have been people that have demanded, requested a vote, for it to go to the vote. The next election that we have is May the 3rd. So it's kind of impossible to make that happen. What we have seen from previous replacements, board replacements, have been Cesar Lopez replacing Escobedo. We had tax assessor collector from Cameron County, Eddie Garcia. He replaced Erasmo Castro. That has been the norm And I do anticipate the board coming together and selecting an individual to fill this seat. And how much power does that vote bring? They do have until August. They do have until August to come up with a consensus vote. If not, the state will intervene. Some individuals have asked for an election, but again, the norm would be appoint someone and then have the election coming up 26, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 26. That is the norm. That is what previous boards have done. And if it's able to be put up for a vote, I think it should be discussed. But the thing is that there's a lot of pressing issues now. It needs to get done now. We have a proposed bond election. There are people for it and there are people against it. Gene put this, hit it on the spot. Mismanagement. People have misspent the money at the district. We can talk about previous boards and overspending. But do you as a voter, chat, how do y'all feel as a voter? Do you want the school district to go out for a bond to invest in these facilities? Maybe, hopefully, everybody will be held accountable and we'll get the best bang for our buck. This bond would be in the range of 390, anywhere from 3 to 4 million, $300 million to address the facilities, maintaining the facilities. BISD at one point had 50 some schools, 52 schools. I think it's down probably to low 40s, mid 40s, low to mid 40s. Their operating budget was at one time $1 million. So 30 million a month that they go through. If I'm not mistaken, times have changed. They have closed schools. They have not hired teachers. Anyways, I'm going on and on. Do we have a dysfunctional board? It seems as if people aren't happy. And nobody seems to give in. We also saw how the Brownsville Educators Stand Together organization posted on their Facebook how they weren't satisfied with Dr. Chavez being put on the agenda once again. It states that it is their belief that Dr. Chavez is the best superintendent since Mr. Bastedo retired. He models and treats employees a tall level with dignity and respect. We hope you have seen a change for the better from your campus and administration since he arrived. Last August, at the pre-K and kinder in-service at the Gladys Porter Zoo, he sat with teachers during lunch and spoke with them. Can you imagine our previous superintendent or any other superintendent sitting down and breaking bread with you? We've also seen a marked difference in HR, where there is a desire to work together with us to resolve issues with employees, where in administration prior, the employee was always in the wrong. These agenda items are due to the incident at February 13th BISD board meeting, when the board on a 3-3 vote did not approve for the community to be allowed to vote on the bond issue. Board member Elizondo walked over to CFO Mr. Cespedes and attempted to bully, intimidate, and harass him into admitting that the bond was a tax increase. Board Secretary Pat Perez asked Mr. Elizondo why he was speaking to an employee in that tone. Board member Elizondo then cursed Ms. Perez, not once but twice, in which she then responded in kind. A board member bullying, harassing, and intimidating an employee? Do those words sound familiar? I hope so, because we get calls, texts, and emails from former employees on a weekly basis on how they are treated similarly. A board member cursing an employee is totally unacceptable. So this this alludes to an incident where there were allegations that I guess they cussed at each other, a board member and an employee. But here we see how a teachers organization is pretty much stating that the board member was rude, was possibly being disingenuous with individuals that he's supposed to be working with, his colleagues at the end of the day. Is there dysfunction at BISD? Everybody is up in arms for Dr. Chavez's position. There are individuals that state that Dr. Chavez is not the right individual for the position. He is currently up in June. The seat that will be either appointed or put up for an election will be very, very important. What would happen if nothing gets done before then? But again, are we seeing dysfunction from the board? We saw how an individual during public comments say that the board should be ashamed of themselves, of their actions. Are they talking about this allegation that a board member Lizondo, cussed out or used profanity towards someone, that he was bullying and harassing two employees? Let's continue. It states, I hope, do these words sound familiar? I hope so, because we get calls, texts, and emails from employees on a weekly basis. A board member cursing an employee is totally unacceptable. There isn't an agenda item on board member conduct. There isn't an agenda item for a board member to apologize for their conduct. Do you, the employees of BISD, want to return to the days of our previous superintendent where you had to post your lesson plans outside your door? Do you want to return to the days when you were verbally embarrassed by a deputy superintendent after a group walkthrough? Campus administrators, do you remember the principal's meeting where you were humiliated in front of your peers and threatened with the loss of your job? Is this the behavior we expect from elected officials? BEST advocates tirelessly for all employees to be treated with dignity, respect, and we defend when you are not treated as a professional that you are. Do we want to condone behavior that would result in a grievance if the offender, board member Lizondo, was a campus administrator? BEST has been accused in the past of being biased against administration and administrators. BEST supports the current administration, which again leads by example. We do not want to return to the past where employees were routinely harassed, retaliated against. BEST would like to believe that tomorrow night's agenda is just a huge April Fool's, but unfortunately that isn't the case. The district also has an agenda item that says that all the intercom systems, etc., etc., etc. Is this board dysfunction? Has it gone to a point where there are no repercussions for a board member's actions? TVEA, Miss Alegria from TVEA, stated how this employee was suspended without pay. I believe it was a week or two. And that board member asked, well, is there any repercussions for the board member? Is he allowed to talk down on someone? Maybe that's a language that, but not to colleagues. So the superintendent was on the agenda. There was a professionalism, I don't want to say course, refresher, I guess you could say, of how individuals should act, how we should be adults, pretty much. But it just looks bad. And People say, well, it has to fit each faction's ideas, or if we appoint that somebody, will he be aligned with a certain three? It is our hope and our expectation that whoever is appointed, whoever is elected, that they're neutral, that each and every agenda item should be thought of independently. Sometimes it might be with certain people, sometimes it might not. That is our expectation. But how does the community feel? Is there dysfunction on the board? Do you want to pay more taxes? Is it right for us to say, this is what we're facing? The district's losing money, losing students. Charter schools are getting all the money. Vouchers are coming in. SpaceX is building. We need this. This is like our last hurrah. It's either this or we go belly up. I think that's what we're facing. The next 10 years, funding is not going to be what it once was. But the only people that we have to blame is ourselves for voting individuals that haven't been held accountable. I really like how I'm hearing how Elon Musk and DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, has been talking about and bringing to light a lot of irregularities of how money is being misappropriated, how there's a lot of fraud going on. That has happened with our district. Things get overpriced. We don't get quality service. Probably something breaks down and we have to spend the money again. That is what has been happening at BISD for the longest time. Bad morale. Yes, bad morale. And that has been going on for the longest time. And you know, it's always hard to obtain that. And then when you obtain it and you lose it, it's hard to get it back. BISD is losing kids by the dozen. That's the truth. And could it be, Margie, that they're losing kids by the dozen because the parents, and I've heard people argue this, the parents are seeing the dysfunction from the board. They're seeing people be disrespectful to their colleagues in a public forum. Former board member was found guilty of bribery. That does not sound good in the eyes of the parents. You know, we're facing a great challenge. We get a lot of students that go to St. Joe. So the district is losing kids rapidly. And the closing of schools, it's going to be the norm. They're going to start evaluating and seeing, our numbers are declining rapidly. It's going to be like a triage. You know, what's more important? But I see that in 10, 15, 20 years. Is there dysfunction on the school board? You have individuals that wish to go another direction with the superintendent. There was no action taken on that agenda item. Right now, it seems as if Dr. Chavez is headed without a contract renewal. We will see what will happen once this individual comes in, either appointed or elected, the direction that he goes. How do we feel about him being from Brownsville, former employee, went up the ranks, knows the ins and outs? Is BISD at a point where we need somebody, a local individual? We had many people that vouched for him at public comments. They were satisfied with the direction in which he's leading the district. They said that compared to previous administrations, it's been a total 180. one thing that was posted on Best was that, can you imagine our former superintendent breaking bread with you, making it seem like, hey, it never happened. Here you have someone that is coming to speak with you, and maybe that's not good enough. Maybe it's not good enough. There are allegations that principals used to be humiliated. Teachers, you have to post your lesson plans outside. Things that kind of started the water to boil for employees. Like, oh, you're making me do all these things. Now they're saying that this man, Dr. Chavez, is what the district needs. Have we been an A-rated district? How are our test scores? The most important thing, what do his peers think of him? Those that work with him. That is very important for the district to consider in possibly terminating Dr. Chavez. What if TEA came in and takes over BISD? We have seen how the state has intervened in La Jolla School District. There were multiple board members that were arrested for corruption charges. Ultimately, the state did go in and implement a new board and a hand-picked super. The possibility is there. It's always there. It's not good. It's not good for a district and the size of the district. $500 million, $500 million annual budget, for them to be in the red, for them to be snared in questionable dealings. Again, everybody has had their hand in the honeypot that has been the school district. Is it a possibility that TEA might come? Yes. We could talk about Barbacoa Gate. That Barbacoa Gate also is looming. Things like that make you go, huh? The district doesn't give the state. They're giving them lots of reasons for them to come in and take charge. Ideas slowly taking over. Blame the voters, yes. Blame the individuals who allow the vendors and outside favored entities to run the board. I think, and I think competition is great, especially if you're a parent, right? You want the very best education for your loved one. And I am more than sure that these arrests, this board member being arrested for corruption, being found guilty for corruption, doesn't help. I blame us, the school district, because we have not properly managed. We have not held those individuals at the leadership position accountable for the money spent. Again, these monies is something that always trickles down to the next administration. But yes, idea is taking over. Since 4 years ago, they acted messed up. Who's that? TEA is the way to go. It's a possibility. Y los unions, super one-sided. ¿Qué quieren? I don't know. And look, there's a difference. There's a difference between, it's very important. What I've learned in life is it's very important the way you treat people. If you're mean to people, if you're not genuine with people, it shows. People could feel it. And that determines the relationship that you ultimately have with that person. It seems as if former Superintendent Rene Gutierrez didn't have that relationship, didn't have that closeness, that familiarity with his subordinates, with his principals, with his administrators. The way people make you feel is very important. They say, chat, that leaders make you feel either equal to them or make you feel that you're the best. they do that because one, they probably believe in that person, but also they want to get the very best out of them. Haven't you noticed that great leaders always have a good crowd around them? Why? Because they're good at propping them up. Hey, let me flame you. Come on. We're only as good as those around us. It's like a link, right? The chain link. You're only as strong as your neighbor. The way people make you feel is very important. What if this super makes BISD an A-rated district? I'm not sure if he has this past year or not. What if this super had good test scores? Because, and again, I think this is the month for what is it? Stars, or I used to take tax test. There's going to be testing coming up. But Margie, that's what I want to convey is maybe this individual, Chavez, connects with these individuals, makes them feel good, makes them feel valued. And maybe they want somebody, hey, I could relate to him. He used to be a former employee. I'm just asking. And when you say one-sided to keep them, again, the district is headed towards troubling times. My friends will make fun of me. Troubling times. Uncertain times. But it's true. You know it, and I know it. School closures also deal with zoning issues. For instance, Pullum has almost around 1,000 students. So come from neighborhood streets, but also come from Southmost. That's why numbers are down at other schools. And we're going to start to see that the more we lose students. Without a vision or plan, and the focus on backdoor deals will lead BISD to continued favor. It is what it is. And the beat goes on. Morale goes back. Famous leadership. The superintendent works with board members and the strategic plan. He does well visiting and breaking bread, but morale goes back to campus leadership. You're absolutely right. You do need leaders that empower other individuals to implement their platform, their strategic plan. I think we have capable, more than capable, leadership administrators. How does the community feel? How does the community feel of having an individual from Brownsville that people have come and advocated for and said, you know what, this individual is the right person for the job. We don't need to look elsewhere. Again, the caveat for me is, what do his peers say? What do his employees say? Is the district A-rated under his guidance, under his leadership, under his ideas? Does he have good test scores? If he does, his salary is north of 370. I'm going to say maybe 400. And many have argued and stated, well, that could always be renegotiated. But again, we will pay. We get what we pay for. Again, is this individual producing? Does he have exceptional numbers? And what does his employees, what does his peers have to say about him? That is very important for me. Leaders should be humble and truly serve their people, not self-serve. What leaders? Most people's virtues are money and power. MAGA's ideas of a hero involve being a billionaire. I want to be a billionaire so freaking bad. MAGA. Yes, it is. It is that's greed, right? And they say, money is a root to all evil. And it's a hard balance to live by, because once you get in that leadership position, once you get into that authority position, Larissa said authority. No, Larissa, authority. No, authority. it's hard. It's hard for them to balance, right? Because it goes to their head. Maybe they think, oh, I'm a board member. You're a nobody. You're a servant of the people. Maybe it does go to their head. Money and power. Let's cut the hogwash and focus on what the needs are for our students and strictly focus on setting goals, keeping the students that we currently have, and stop seeing lower enrollment. Bottom line, we have gone from 56 to 36. No bueno. 20,000 in possibly what, 10 years? 2,000 per year? Ouch. BISD needs loving care, knowledgeable, and go-getters who will hustle to get the job done. His salary is $420. He is only worth $200. Ouch. Damn, I would like to get $420. Imagine. Frankie, I'd be interested to see ideas results. They talk about 100% college acceptance. Do they actually complete college, or is it just a, hey, look at me, I got accepted? Just curious. The hardest thing in life, Rodriguez, is getting your foot in the door. In anything, in a sale, in an interview, in being the first one at the super to get your produce. The most important thing is getting your foot in the door. That's what I like about IDEA. And again, I'm not promoting IDEA. I want my people to go to BISD. Don't get it twisted. But what I am saying is the hardest thing in life is to get your foot in the door. Once you have your foot in the door, hey, you sink or swim, papa. You can take a horse to water. We can't make him drink it. Let's be real. Not every student is possibly going to finish. The realities of life. They find something better. They get married, have kids, whatnot. But the important thing is that they are actively working to make sure that their students have each and every opportunity to go to any university that they're able to go to. And I like how they go on trips. They go to Rice, UT, they go to Carnegie, they go to St. Mary's, they go to all these colleges, A&M, all these colleges, and do tours, because you start irking their mind. You start piquing their interest and saying, hey, well, I could see myself, living here. This be cool, or, something different. That's the good thing, because at a young age, you're already planting that seed. Oh, well, you're going to go to college. Okay, you're going to go to college. Okay, in 2 years, we're going to take you. And then 2 years, like, oh, wow, this is where I'm at. Wow, this is where I'm be. Yeah, I'm going to go. Again, are they 100% on everything? No, realistically, but hey, like in baseball, if you bat 300, you're considered a man. 300, hitting 3 out of 10 pitches. So 100% to me, kind of, but the idea that they implement college and further education, continuing education, and ultimately do get them in the door into several. That is the important thing with IDEA. Let's take care of our tax dollars. Kati, what's your idea? What's your thinking in regards to the bond? $390 million that would go out on a vote to the community for BISD facilities. I would add that the Performing Arts Center should be somewhere in there. That is the only way I would ask the community to pay taxes once again. And you're saying, well, what about the TRE? The TRE was meant for that. Yeah, we also need to find out what happened to that money. But that's the only way I would encourage my community to vote yes for this project. If the Performing Arts Center was on there, I don't think it will be, because the more pressing issue is facilities. But if we're going to be closing them, is there a need to have them rebuilt and spend more money? Superintendent needs to take a pay cut, and so do administration at Glass Palace. They can take a pay cut. We will see. Again, this appointment of Erasmo Castro's seat for place 7 is very, very important. This appointment or this election. is very important. We need an individual that is going to be neutral, that will always put the needs of the people, the district first. Sometimes in life, we have to give and take. I think it is important for the community to look for individuals that could work well with others, that have a proven track record, that at the end of the day, they will put their differences aside on any issue and work for what's best. We have currently a stalemate right now, 3-3. Who's going to give in? Who's going to blink? We need somebody that's going to come in, be neutral, and have the best interests of the community at heart. Would love to have a conversation with you about education offline. I don't want to have a conversation with you offline. Yeah, man, call me or text me. Let me know whenever you're free. Is there dysfunction on the board? I leave you once again with what Miss McNair stated, and I want you to talk and ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself: do we want somebody local? Do we want an individual born and bred in BISD that will benefit the district moving forward? Let me get it started. So, have a great day. Remember, is this board dysfunctional? You be the judge. Let me bring it up.
Exercise in futility. And I, like others, I'm asking you to be cooperative and work as a team. You had all of these students here earlier, all of them progressing, all of them doing good things, and yet the behavior of your board is dysfunctional. And I will just give you some examples. And I hope you have this self-evaluation, and I hope you really take what I say to heart. You ignored the recommendations of the Citizens Facilities Committee. You had 100 people working to go to all the schools. And believe you me, if you've been to the schools, you've seen all the deferred maintenance. Yet you ignored that. Then you didn't vote to let the issue go to the voters. Let the voters decide if they're going to spend $300 million on these facilities, which they all needed work. Every facility needed something. There was maintenance needed and you did not let the voters decide. Why not? That made no sense. Then the reality of your diminishing school population. You have a diminishing school population, schools are going to have to be closed. There's just no question about it, and you're not facing up to the reality. Then putting Dr. Chavez again on the agenda. Why can you not decide that he's really doing a good job? And you need to acknowledge it. And whatever else you need to know, you know that it's going to be a 3-3 vote. So why are you putting it on the agenda so people like me and Denise have to come and say, this is not progressing. This is not what you want to model to your students. And in fact, this is what you would not want your students to do. This is the opposite of what would be good behavior, a good example to anybody in this community. So anyone encouraging you in this dysfunctional behavior has something other than the best interests of this school board at heart. And you need to really think about that, because you have an obligation to this community and you are not doing what is best for the community. And anyone that says otherwise is not thinking of what is best for the community.
Yeah.
I am so devastated. Some of the expenses should be in-house work through maintenance department. Bond, let's get it together and see how many schools we will continue to lose. Our maintenance department used to take care of the yearly maintenance in our schools. They were kept within a 5-year plan. Yes, board members. Yes, board is extremely dysfunctional. How can an idea board member come and dictate to the board system she represents? Dr. Chavez is not and has not done a good job. The district has plunged to failure. I love my community and I am a proud product of BISD. An idea board member of Miss McNair, of Cardenas McNair. I don't see it like, oh, one of those schools is trying to dictate and tell us what to do. Hey, maybe we need it. We haven't been giving people, the community, reason to say, hey, we're doing a good job. I hate to say this, but Los Fresnos is run. You never hear nothing about their board. You always hear great things about, is it Gonzalo? I apologize if I get the name wrong. The superintendent from Los Fresnos, we only hear great things about him. He's always getting recognized. Scores are good, great. So I don't see why individuals and I could see where you're coming from. That how is an idea board member telling us what to do? Like, no, I don't see it that way. Hey, constructive criticism. We obviously haven't been doing a good job ourselves. Look at the hole that we're in. We're digging ourselves deeper and deeper into this hole. I think we need all the advice we can get. The Titanic is sinking more each day. No, Elizabeth! No, don't say that. I know that's Whitney Houston. I'm the king of the world. Woohoo! Don't say that, Elizabeth. I'll rescue y'all. McNair is a board member which goes back and tells ID administration, let's get ready. They are coming. Well, it's competition. Competition is a good thing. People shouldn't be scared of competition. Competition is good because it brings out the better of us or the worst of us. That's why, vouchers. Vouchers are a thing that's going to happen. It's only a matter of when. Why? Because of mismanagement. And I'm not just talking about BISD. Look at the Rio Grande Valley. What is the image that we portray to the outside world? That we're corrupt, that we're good for nothing, we're all fat, we have multiple kids, no wives, we're diabetic. That is what the state, that is what Austin is seeing. They're seeing all this mismanagement. They're hearing about board members' corruption. Like, these people haven't been mismanaging the millions and millions of dollars, taxpayer money. Property taxes, man, property taxes are killing my butt. I'm just kidding. But so I like competition. I think competition is good. It's unfortunate that the school district has failed this community because there was no plan. There has been no plan. There has been no vision. It's just, how are we going to get ourselves outside of the hole? I like competition. Yes, Dr. Gonzalo and Los Fresnos have it together. They really do. They really, really do. My brothers were products of Los Fresnos. My sister was too. Nothing but great things to say. You don't hear nothing out of them. Nothing. No problems, no bickering, no nothing. They fly under the radar. They produce. And maybe it is Gonzalo. And we need somebody like him if Dr. Chavez is not him. BISD needs leaders that truly care with no personal agendas or backroom deals. Totally agree. Exactly. Elizabeth. We're going to get through this, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Wednesday, April the 2nd, 10 a.m. Is there dysfunction on the school board? Are we going to see our board elect someone that has no agendas, that has no personal ties, backroom deals? Competition is good, and vouchers are good and will be good. Vouchers came about because poor leadership in our school district. The current push for this bond is for backdoor deals. Reality check. We have worthless individuals calling themselves leaders, and they aren't leaders. With these types of bonds, you could just see them salivating with contracts. But again, we need to be held accountable. We need to be Doge. We need to say, okay, we spent $2 million on this project. Where is it? How is it? Things like that. I think that very important is that moving forward is very important because plus we got nothing else. We're already in the red. All we have to do is just be smart about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Live with Frankie every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. If you haven't already, make sure you like our Facebook page. Any comment, like, or share will help us greatly. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 301, 302 right now. So we got a long ways to go. Once again, thank you so much for your time and your attention. See you all here tomorrow. Peace.